Well, coming up on this episode of Federal Retirement Experts, we're talking about phased retirement. It might be an option for you as a federal employee, but what does it mean? What does that look like? And what happens to your pension? We'll go through the details of a phased retirement, help you better understand it, and maybe decide if it's something that you want to try.
This is the Federal Retirement Experts Podcast with your host, Gregory Jameson.
Welcome in. Glad to have you on Federal Retirement Experts. I am Ben George. He is Gregory Jameson, Vice President and Retirement Coach, serving federal employees nationwide. Gregory, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you.
I want to talk phased retirement with you today. This is not something for everyone, right? This is an option that some federal employees have, but could be a way to both benefit you and also your employer as well, right? As you transition into retirement.
Right. Phased retirement is an option for some people. You know, if you've met your service and age requirements, you have, for instance, 20 years or more of service by the time you're 60, or you have 30 or more years of service at, 56, 57, in that range. You're able to retire with an immediate pension. There's no reduction in your benefits, but maybe you have a position where your employer would benefit significantly from you staying on part-time and to allow for training a new employee to take over your position. And this would allow, with the training, that new employee to be up and running in the most efficient way possible. There's a lot of responsibilities on federal employees, and with cuts in personnel, more and more responsibilities are put on federal employees. So we want to be as efficient as possible. The government wants to be as efficient as possible. Doesn't always happen, but that's what they're trying to accomplish. And if you're able and willing to do a phased retirement, that's going to help them train new people and get them up and running as fast as possible. So it's a matter of, if you're willing and if you're able and you're approved to do this type of phased retirement, how does that affect you?
How long typically does the phased retirement work? Is it vary person to person, or is it a set amount of time?
It does vary person to person with the position. And, I'm talking about FERS employees, particularly a regular retirement. If you're talking about, special retirement systems like with the law enforcement or firefighter, air traffic controller, things are a little bit different. But with regular federal FERS employees, having a phased retirement, it's going to allow them to essentially work part-time when they retire. And that's it. For instance, if it is 50%, they're able to retire 50% and work 50%. So how does that play into your overall retirement once you do finally separate? Is really the question for a lot of people. It's nice to phase out, especially after a very long career. 20, 30 years working with the government, most people want to leave on a good note. And they don't necessarily either even want to jump into retirement with both feet. So if their employer is willing, or your agency is willing to allow you to do a phased retirement, beneficial for a lot of people. It's going to allow you to take, for instance, if you're going to be working 50% or part-time at 50%, it's going to allow you to take half of your retirement pension and half of your working income.
What other financial considerations do people need to go through and discuss with you, or what conversations do you have with someone that's considering a phased retirement? Because I guess the question always is, I want to help, right? I want to help my employees, want to help the members of my team, these people that I've worked with and probably have great relationships with, spend a lot of time in my life with, I want to help them out. But for me, what does it mean for me financially? And you kind of talked about the split income and pension. Does it affect your pension long-term? How does that all kind of play out over time?
Right, right. So you're still going to be accumulating sick leave, annual leave, but it's going to be on a 50% basis while you're still working. You're able to then retire from the phased position, and they're going to recalculate your pension. So not only are you going to get the other half of your pension that you weren't receiving before, but they're going to factor in all of the new part-time hours into the overall pension. So now your pension is higher than it otherwise would have been if you just had retired at that point initially. So having the phased retirement does boost your pension overall long term, and it allows you to ease into it instead of jumping in with both feet. Getting into specifics, there are 2,087 hours in a year for federal employees. So what they're going to do is they're going to, whatever percentage you're working, if it's 40%, 50%, however many hours you actually worked, is how they're going to calculate the increase in the pension for the pension calculation. So it's going to be prorated.
Makes sense. So let's kind of talk, I guess, kind of close it out by, who this makes sense for generally, and who maybe would choose, the phased retirement doesn't seem like something I want to do. So who would kind of work for, and who would maybe generally not work for?
So it would work for someone that doesn't need to be there all the time. Right. So, for instance, nurses, they do need to be there pretty much all the time. And so it may not be an option for those types of federal employees. But for others who might work doing something more generalized, that has a lot of experience and there's a lot of nuances of the position, having someone new come in to take over that position can be daunting. So it's having a mentor that can guide them. It really makes it very beneficial, not just for the employer and the new person taking over the position, but also for the federal employee who wants to make sure they're leaving on a good note and taking care of the others that they work with, and making it as smooth of a transition as possible.
Do you feel like most people that you've worked with that have taken advantage of this phased retirement are happy they did?
Generally speaking, yes. Because, of course, going from working full-time and having all of the responsibility to going part-time, it's huge, especially if you're able to work a portion of that time from home. It really feels like you're already retired for most people. They're able to have both the benefits of retirement and the working income and ease into it. And for most, they're wanting to do that as long as they can.
Well, this is something that maybe you have the option to do and you're considering, and you want to maybe get a little bit of feedback and maybe run the numbers with someone that can help you with that. Again, Federal Retirement Experts is the best place to start. You can get access to the nation's best federal retirement experts. Just log on, federalretirementexperts.com, or you can call as well, 727-935-2421. And again, take advantage of the free federal benefits analysis. You can get that run right now. Just get in contact with Greg and the team there, and they'll be happy to sit down with you and begin that process. I know it's one that a lot of people have found a tremendous value in, and it can really help you out and get you a better picture of kind of where you stand and what retirement might look like for you. And you want to always make sure you're taking advantage of your benefits, right, Gregory?
Right. We're here for you. We want to make sure everything's clear, and our reports are always free for federal employees.
All right. Well, anything else you want to kind of close out with, Gregory? I know we touched on just about everything there, but any final thoughts?
Retirement's a big step. You don't need to go at it alone. And we're here to make sure everything's clear. And having a report that puts all of your financial information into one document is very beneficial. And we're happy to do it for you.
Well, thanks for tuning in here to Federal Retirement Experts. This is the federal employee's premier source for retirement planning. For Gregory Jameson, I am Ben George. Thanks for watching.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Federal Retirement Experts is a wholly owned subsidiary of Jameson Financial Solutions. This material has been provided by a licensed insurance professional for information and educational purposes only and is not endorsed or affiliated with the Social Security Administration or any government agency. It is not intended to provide and should not be relied upon for accounting, legal, tax, or investment advice. The information and opinions contained in this program have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. They are given for informational purposes only and are not a solicitation to buy or sell any of the products mentioned. The information is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation.